Britomartis set some snares and concealed nets. Then the followers of Artemis started making noise. Just as they hoped, most of the regular-sized deer ran away, but the giant hinds with the golden horns turned to face the enemy and protect their herd. 4 of them charged straight into the nets and were caught, but the smartest of the 5 turned at the last second and dashed to safety. "My lady," said Britomartis, "should we go after that one?" Artemis smiled. "No, 4 deer are plenty enough to pull my chariot. That 5th one has earned her freedom. She's a smart hind. From now on she'll have my blessing. I forbid any hunter to harm her." That lucky deer lived a long time. She became famous for hanging out in the area of Greece called Cyrenia, so she was known as the Cyrenian hide. Later on, Hercules would be ordered to capture her, but that's another story. Artemis now had everything she needed: her weapons, her followers, her hunting dogs, and her chariot pulled by magical hinds with 14-carat horns. The goddess spent her time roaming the mountains, hunting monsters, punishing anyone who needlessly was cruel to animals or didn't respect the wilderness. Occasionally she'd pop into town to check on the children, help mothers give birth, and maybe do a little recruiting among the young girls who might want to join the hunt. In some ways, she and her brother Apollo were very much alike. They were both freakishly good archers. While Artemis was the protector of young maidens, Apollo was the protector of young men. Both had healing powers. Both could punish disrespectful mortals with a sudden death arrow or a horrible plague. Later on, Artemis became known as the goddess of the moon, taking over the sun titan Selene, the same way Apollo took over Helios, the sun titan. Sometimes you'll see Artemis with a silvery crescent-shaped emblem on her headband, which either means she's the moon goddess or that she has a boomerang duct tape to her forehead. Let's just go with the first option. In other ways, Artemis was totally different from her brother. Apollo dated everybody. Artemis had no time for that nonsense. She was absolutely immune to love magic. Her brother Apollo liked to make music. Artemis preferred the sounds of crickets at night, the crackle of the campfire, the hooting of owls, and the gurgling of rivers. Apollo liked to draw attention to himself. Artemis preferred to slip away into the wilderness and be left alone with just her followers. Her symbols? No surprise. The bow, the deer, and sometimes the crescent moon. You might think only women worshipped her, but guys respected her as well. The Spartans used to pray to her for good hunting and success with archery and whatnot. Gross out alert. To honor her, they used to tie a young guy to Artemis's altar and whip him until he bled all over the place. Why they thought that would make Artemis happy, I'm not sure. Did I mention that the Spartans were complete freakazoids? Other Greeks sacrificed goats to her, or even dogs. I know, dogs? Artemis loved dogs. Why would anyone sacrifice them to her? I don't know. Hopefully Artemis made her displeasure known by setting a plague down on those idiots. She was popular all over Greece, but her biggest temple was in the city of Ephesus in Asia Minor. The Amazons founded the place, which makes sense. A nation of women warriors, they totally got what Artemis was all about. Sure, Artemis was mostly into hunting, but she was an excellent warrior when she had to be. For instance, when those twin giants, the Elodai, attacked Olympus, stacking up the mountains to make a siege tower, it was Artemis who took them down. Okay, it happened like this. After Ares, the war god, got sprung out of that bronze jar, the twin giants started bragging about how they were going to take over Olympus and make the gods their slaves. Ephialtes wanted Hera for his wife. Otis wanted to force Artemis to marry him. When word got out back to Artemis, she said, "Okay, those two need to die now." Maybe she could have taken them down from a distance with her bow, but she wanted to get up close and personal so she could see the pain on their faces. She charged down the mountain and harassed them with arrows, shooting them in the legs and the hands and some very sensitive places. The twin giants tried to impale her with their massive spears, but she was way too fast. Finally, she ran between the giants. They both stabbed at her, but she dodged at the last second, and the giants skewered each other. Giants killed, problem solved. It also made a great blooper reel on Olympus' funniest battles.